Good afternoon and Merry Christmas, my friends. This is the Flayer, and I hope everybody's having a great holiday season. We're here. We're going to mess around for fun in the tournament practice lobby. We're fresh off a 5-0 league on the channel, live commentating, so feels good, and we are in the mood for a little bit of Christmas fun, a little bit of holiday shenanigans here. So I have made a few very spicy changes to my stock list. I haven't put all that much thought into it. I just kind of whipped this up in 5 minutes, but I'll show you what we've done. We're going to go over it quickly, then we're going to hop into some tournament practice lobby games and just take this for a spin. Just have some fun. So I hope you guys will stay with me for that. Right off the bat, we are playing an Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. This is a card I've wanted to try out in here for a while. This is in the Twilight Mire slot. I think the deck should probably have either one or the other. Of course, a 5th fetch land is fine in that slot too, but I do like having either Twilight Mire or Urborg, and there are pros and cons to both, which I've discussed in the past, but we're giving the Urborg a shot here. It's better in opening hands a lot of the time, specifically when you have Fields of Ruin, which is a very unfortunate non-bow with Twilight Mire, but pairs just fine with an Urborg. So Urborg can fix your black mono woes, and a really strong combo, by really strong I mean extremely corner case combo, with Urborg is Funeral Charm. Funeral Charm is an instant speed, non-targeted discard spell, which is pretty cool to hit an opponent on their draw step with, against a lot of decks anyway. It can kill an X1. It can be a combat trick. It can pump our stuff for +2 damage in corner case situations, but the corner case, as it refers to Urborg, is granting somebody Swamp Walk. Urborg, of course, makes every lands on both sides of the table into swamps. Funeral Charm is going to give our Tarmogoyf Swamp Walk. It's going to be hilarious. So that's the first change we made, or the first pair of changes we've made. We're also playing a full 4 copies of Dark Confidant, which is something that I do want to continue trying. My competitive list right now has 3, but 4 is certainly very viable, and we're going to play 4 here for fun. We've got a slightly higher density than average of 1-mana spells between the main and the sides, so that it's a good time to give that 4th Bob a spin, some little synergy there. And the other spicy cards come in the sideboard. We are going to try a 1 of Blackmail. A lot of people would argue, and I think there's some merit to it, that we should have access to a 7th, 1-mana targeted discard spell in the 75. Now, some people will play 4-2 Inquisition Thoughtseize. They've got the 3rd Thoughtseize on the side. That's great. Some people do what I do with a 3-3 split main, and then they play a Duress on the side. That's great, too. I've done that in the past myself. Blackmail. Blackmail is a really unusual way to round out that 7th position, but do note that this can take away lands. So this is almost like a better Thoughtseize in context of certain progressions, right? Where you follow this up as like your 2nd or 3rd discard spell in the early to mid game. This is just as good as a Thoughtseize, except it doesn't lose you any life. Obviously, that's kind of an ideal progression. Sometimes this is just a lot narrower than Inquisition or Thoughtseize. But the one upside that no other discard spell that we play has, that Blackmail brings to the table, is that you can take away a land. So that's really fun, especially in combination with Surgical Extraction, and especially against, decks like Tron and Valakut. So we're going to have some fun with Blackmail. And finally, we have given Ob Nixilis Reignited a run out. This guy is pretty cool. Definitely a powerhouse grindy card. Drawing us cards, destroying creatures, and some late game inevitability out of the emblem. I don't think he's as immediately impactful on the board, obviously, as Nissa Vital Force, but arguably grinds more reliably. Like, in terms of just purely doing grindy things, Ob Nixilis is, like, guaranteed to destroy a creature when he comes down, or guaranteed to draw you a card. Nissa's abilities are more powerful and they have a higher ceiling, and I will be very reluctant to ever move away from playing this card, but Ob Nixilis is potentially competing for a slot over a second Nissa, is what I would say. So he's worth testing, he's worth playing, he's worth having some fun with. So otherwise, we've got a lot of the usual suspects, a lot of the same things. I cut a Collective Brutality from the 75 to make room for some of this stuff. I cut a couple sideboard cards as well, but since it's just for fun, we don't need to get too much more technical than this. Let's play some games. Golgari Funeral in the tournament practice lobby. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, I lied. You can't join this game. Well, how about now? Here we go. I do sincerely hope that everybody out there is having a wonderful Christmas. I'm having a nice, restful, and relaxing one myself. I do have to get back to work tomorrow, sadly, but you've got to pay the bills, right? And definitely enjoying the day while we can. And if I want to be frank, I'm over here sipping on a little bit of Christmas cheer. Now, that's not something I do too often. If I do have a drug of choice, it is most certainly caffeine. But 'tis the season and all that good stuff, right? So we're having fun, playing some Golgari, playing some spicy cards, and kicking back. I have received some great feedback on my recent game, so thanks to everybody for all that. And thanks to specifically a couple of my patrons who have not only been kind enough to support my channel, but have given me some great advice. One piece of advice I'm going to try to employ here. Now, this is a triple Inquisition hand. This is kind of hilarious. Obviously, very, very potentially powerful on the play. I think we should mull this, though. The top end is too top-end heavy here. I don't want to show you guys a non-game because I kept a greedy hand. Sure, we'll keep this very slow hand. Abrupt Decay is a toss-up. If they don't... We already have enough if they play to the board, even though it's slow, that I think I should bottom this. We are bottoming that in search of a threat. So, one piece of advice that came from one of my Patreons is to hit 8 at the beginning of games, which is going to auto-yield you when you don't have any possible actions to take. Now, a couple times old habits have kicked in since I've started doing this, and I've kind of skated past my attack step because I'm used to pressing 1 a couple times to reach said attack step. But hey, it's definitely a good clock-saving tool. And as you guys know, if you've seen my videos against Martyr Proc, Blue-White Control, some of these recent ones, I do need all the help I can get. So they're going to Inquisition away our Dark Confidant. This is a Black-White X deck of some kind. Excuse me, they Inquisitioned our way a Lily, but we'll draw Dark Confidant, and we will play him. That's a good draw. Given the color pairing we're against, I do not necessarily expect him to live. But of course, if he does, that's just what we're after. Look at that, the 4th copy of Confidant paying off already. Ally? Cavern of Souls for allies, but they had a Thoughtseize turn 1. Okay. Colostria Healer, Vampire Cleric Ally. Whenever this or another ally ETBs, it's a drain for 1. Well then, you got it. Tireless Tracker, huh? And a land? Okay, those are good draws. I think I should just keep the board clear here. Pretty happy to pulse this thing away, even though it might not be the scariest. You know, we do have Dark Confidant, so that life drain will potentially be relevant over the course of the game. So I'm pretty happy to knock that off with a good old Maelstrom Pulse. And the best thing they could have this turn is a way to kill the Bob and a way to take the tracker out of our hand, and since they seem to be a tribal deck, I was going to say that's unlikely, but so far they've got half of that. Hada Freeblade, is this the champion of the parish, basically? Yep, okay. Solid. Well, less solid. A little bit less solid here. I wonder if I should offer the trade, because I don't think they'll take it. I don't think they'll take the block. But that's very bad for me if they do. Yeah. We'll just pass. Confidant is too necessary. Man, I can't believe we've gotten Inquisition twice against an allies deck, but what are you gonna do? Captain's Clause. Yeah. Alright. Okay, at this point, we're trying to thin out our deck, I guess. Bob revealing another Bob. Okay, well, now I get to offer the trade. I guess Bob revealed Verdant Catacombs. We drew the other Bob naturally. Or maybe I'm mistaken, I don't remember. But either way. We're getting in. I mean, there's no need to sandbag these lands. A, they know about them, and B, we've got plenty more where that came from if we need fuel for a tracker or any of our other fun things. So this is going to pump and create an ally. Yeah, okay, that's a nice little combo. We gonna lose to Hada Freeblade Beats? We might. We just might. Hissing Quagmire. And Tarmogoyf. Well, pretty obviously have to trophy away this Hada Freeblade. So let's attack first. Alright, so they can still keep generating all these tokens with by just re-equipping this to the token itself. So that's kind of cool, but at least as things stand, they'll just be suiciding a token into our Tarmogoyf. We still are very much in danger of losing this game. They can generate chumpers. They now have a third land thanks to our trophy. Our Confidant triggers are going to be potentially very painful, but hey. Kalastria Healer, yeah. Yeah, you got it. And here comes the value. Wait, oh, does this thing enter tapped, the new one? Oh, it comes in tapped and attacking? I missed that. I missed that, guys. Well. Inquisition. Well, Scavenging Ooze. The Scoozer might do us some good here. So they have there are 3 creatures in the yard to eat. And I guess Inquisition is worth casting, so if we play out Urborg is the place in general, so we won't have to fetch potentially ever. We'll Inquisition here. Alright, I'm not going to know what any of these things do, so bear with me. There's Captain's Clause, which we know. Drain a Liberator of Malakir. Okay, this kind of is a evasive attacker that puts counters on the team, and this is a finisher. So we have to take this because we don't want them to skate through our Scavenging Ooze for lethal. They have Talus Paladin. Wow, yep, that's pretty cool. And then Gideon. You got it. Alright, so now we have 4 things to eat. Do we just eat all 4, or do we want to Inquisition away? What else do we have here? Captain's Claws or Draina? I don't think I care about either of those cards. But, yeah, and whatever they cast, I'll have an Inquisition target next turn, so I'm just going to eat all 4 things here. Or maybe we should just eat a couple and then bluff interaction. I can buy that. Alright, so they did hit their 4th land. Talus Paladin, Gideon Ally of Zendikar, both live. This is a spicy Orzhov Allies deck. Most Allies decks I've seen have been Collected Company. They've been 3 colors. I have seen 4 colors. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a splash, but of course it's not the most common tribe we've ever seen in the modern landscape, but there's some power there. There's some great synergies, of course. The main problem is that a lot of the synergies, I think, end up being a little bit too cute, a little bit too conditional, and perhaps a little bit too slow overall for Modern. And then there's some tension between playing Collected Company because it's just really good and playing something like Captain's Claws, which has tribe-specific synergy. Alright, they're playing another Claws. Sure. Yep, they're making all the core. Man, am I regretting only having a couple one less Fatal Push in my deck now. Well, we're gonna eat. And we're gonna eat again. And we're gonna be left at 1 life with double Bob triggers coming off. I guess I should have done the math before I turned both Bobs sideways, huh? But hey, greatness at any cost. Ooh, we almost got there. Flipped a Swamp and a Thoughtseize. Exactly lethal, huh? Well, fair enough. We flooded out a little bit too much in the early game, that's for sure. But that was still a fun one. Explosive, Sphinx, Pulse, all this stuff seems pretty fine. I don't know how grindy we expect things to be. Maybe we just... I mean, we're just playing for fun, right? So maybe we'll bring in Op Nixilis for fun. Funeral Charm. How relevant is the kill mode here? Looks like they showed us a fair amount of X2s, so I actually don't think it's that relevant. So what if we cut away Funeral Charm? We bring in these 5 things. Both Liliana seem good. I mean, even Lily of the Veil, we might even just want to leave in all 3. I could see trimming down on a Bob. And probably just a discard from there. Maybe hedging like this. So we're respecting our life total, but we do have the reach to hit their 4 drops. Seems fine to me. Seems fine to me. I did have somebody message me and say that they had difficulty signing up for Patreon. I looked into it, and there doesn't seem to be any issues on my end. I think it's just the website Patreon itself being a little bit wonky, by the way. So, this is a super high end. But look, Field of Ruin and Urborg. The Urborg is making this hand playable, and I think I'll play it. They are apparently a Thoughtseize deck, so I don't want a mulligan. And, if they do have an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize turn 1, that's not great. Obviously, we lean pretty heavily on the Bob here. But... So anyway, if anyone else has experienced that difficulty, signing up as a Patreon pledger, please let me know. But as far as I can tell, it was just kind of a, come on. Come on. Just kind of the website behaving strangely, which is not entirely unheard of. Let's just put it that way. So, they take the Collective Brutality? Well, they must have a kill spell for the Bob, and we've got another one, so sure. Either that, or they just think they can beat the Bob, but... Cavern o' Souls. Hada Freeblade. Yeah, buddy. Well, alright then. Interesting. Interesting. So, Tireless Tracker is the reveal, huh? Well, this is pretty awkward, because we cannot make green mana, so all we can do is play another Dark Confidant or pass holding up Field of Ruin. Both seem very, very underwhelming, but let's attack. If they trade, then we'll happily play another Bob. Alright, I guess we just play the other Bob here. It's not great for obvious reasons. Our life total is under pressure in this matchup. That's why we shaved one, but it's still a great card, and we just have to assume we're going to hit a green land along the way here somewhere off of these double Bob triggers, plus our natural draw. That would be pretty sweet. And we've got the top end here to make up for all of the pain we're going to be taking. We've got the Kalitas, we've got the Obnixilis. Alright. Couple O lands. I like it. I like it a lot. So casting an Inquisition is tempting here, but I think I might be more interested in simply casting Kalitas. We have to shock to do so, but the power of Kalitas in a matchup like this is not to be underestimated. So I think I'll do that, then I'll get in with a single Bob and call that good. The tapping with Urborg is slightly annoying here. Definitely a point against that land in the Twilight Mire slot, but hey. Can't really hold MTGO's interface against the card selection here. Now, I'm sure there's a way to some kind of hotkey, something you can hold to make your lands tap more easily. I simply don't know. I should really take like an afternoon and actually learn these things, but whoop. I've got somebody at my door. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that, folks. We are back, and it looks like we've taken a massive amount of damage from Dark Confidant triggers. Well, that's not very exciting now, is it? So, we don't have land number 5. We do not have land number 5 at all. So, I think we have to kill this healer. That's potentially a higher priority target for removal than anything else I see. So Inquisition into Pulse is one way. Kind of want to play the Scavenging Ooze too, but it's not like we can activate it this turn. Yeah, I think we actually have to Inquisition here because they've got that Kabira Evangel that can just end the game with protection for the turn. So sure, we'll begin with the IOK. Are they going to path? They're going to push a Bob? Sure. I'm happy enough with that. Maybe our Inquisition will blank here, but it will not. Oh, they've got double Evangel. Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay. So this is going to get pro-black. Kalidas' zombies are black. Well, that's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate for us. And this is allies you control. Yeah, so I think we're just dead. Think we are just dead unless we play the Skoos. Then we can throw away a Skoos to chump something. That's pretty awful, but might be our only. Well, no, they just. I guess they also just don't have the power to kill us, like the power on board. But this is the biggest thing. This thing is going to pump everything else. And, of course, this is draining us. So this is just kind of a no-win situation here. But I think what we actually need to do is just kill something and then get in with the Kalidas. And know they're going to have the Evangel coming down. Not much we can do about it, so sure. I'll pulse the Free Blade here. Yeah. Thought about attacking with the Bob there, but if we do send in the Bob, then they potentially have decent attack even without spending the Evangel. And, yeah, you know, you could go either way with that, but... Alright. Alright, connecting with the Kalidas gave us a bit of a buffer. So it's pro-black, we can't block. You got it. But at least that's out of their hand. They have only Gideon left. And Bob reveals Verdant Catacombs. Good job, Bob. Good job, Bob. Alright, so EE on 2 is a 2-for-2 that takes away our riskiest card. I love EE on 2 right now. I completely love EE on 2. The big problem with that is we would love to also play Liliana, tick her up to get Gideon out of their hand. That would be really sweet. That would be really good. So if we play Lily, tick her up, what else can we really do? It would probably be just... Yeah, man. Tough call. Tough call, but we can beat a Gideon when we have a big army of zombies. So if we go EE on 2, crack it for 2, play the Skoos. I guess that's the line here. Alright, so let's make an attack with Kalidas first, see what they do. No blocks, huh? Alright. So I think we're just going to carry out that plan. Oops, I did not need to fetch. I'm not used to playing with the Urborg. My bad, guys, my bad. Didn't need the fetch there. Hopefully it will not matter. EE on 2. Crack the EE. Play an ooze, pass to you. Alright, it was a very good turn. We've got a lot of really great top-end stuff to come down as well. We've got a bunch of life gain on the board. I think we're stabilized. And again, we can beat this Gideon with our army of zombies. He's going to make some tokens of his own, but oh, and those tokens are allies. Well, I did not even realize that, but I should have, because ally is in the name, and they're just coming after us. We will not take the block here. Scooz is too valuable. All right. We draw another Scooz. Not great, but that is fine. So if we play the Ob Nixilis here, I mean, that's just worse than playing the Liliana, I think. I think we're supposed to just clear the board totally. Would potentially an interesting line, though. Ob Nixilis into, you know, just an ooze activation, basically, but let's get this board cleared. See who they throw away here. That's kind of an interesting decision for them, but we, of course, have the trophy as well. Okay, they throw away their creature, so we get a zombie. Alright, send all of my zombies at the Gideon. Send these two things at them. One, two, three creatures total in all graveyards to be consumed by the ooze. You know what? If I just trophied away this knight I had lethal, that is alright. I'm totally fine with it. I'm just playing for fun. I'm not really getting into everything too crazy here, and I actually just kind of want to get a really nice life buffer here. Get a little bit more damage across. So I'm going to go ahead and eat one of my attacking zombies here, because they're going to finish off Gideon with just two. Don't mind trading away my ooze here, because I have another in hand. Alright. We should have him here. Alright, we did it. We did it, we did it. Pretty fun matches so far, pretty interesting matches, and I don't think we saw anything there that made us want to change what we're up to, so I'm just going to run it back. Looks like we're falling away a little bit in the meta, my friends. We, last time I peeked at MTG Goldfish, we had plummeted to the teens, down from, like, peaking at like, number 6 in the meta, according to them, which, again, as I often say, with a caveat, is imperfect data. But yeah, I don't know what's up. I think there's just some other decks kind of taking the fore in Modern. We still got Spirits in the new Is It Phoenix deck at the top, dragged right behind him. Tron, and then Grixis Death Shadow, which has seen a renaissance of sorts. And some combo decks, Humans, Burn, Blue-White Control, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're around 12th or 13th. We are still ahead of Jund, though, so we are the BGX deck putting up the most results. I'll keep this hand. If they've got another turn 1 discard spell, man, they're really, that's really paying off for them. There goes the Bob. Okay. We have not succeeded in concealing any information, but that's still the best land to play on turn 1. Alright, Obnixilis, show us what you're all about here. Show us the way, buddy, show us the way. Captain's Clause, alright. Well, that's a good one, but so is Tarmogoyf. This thing is whenever it attacks, yeah, so we don't have anything to worry about quite yet. So we get the luxury of deploying our threat. And then next turn we can interact in whatever way we see fit. It'll be an interesting question as to whether we trophy away a creature or this Captain's Clause. Depends obviously on what they do here. Ooh, okay. Ramping us to Obnixilis mana, sure. Alright. Planeswalker, Liliana Planeswalker, or Tireless Tracker would be good here. Maelstrom Pulse would now be great with this Captain's Clause. I'll take a Bob. I'll take Dark Confidant, though. We've got more than enough lands that I'm going to run out this fetch land here to go grab an Overgrown Tomb, and if I do need to fetch a basic to trophy, whatever. They might be on a Gideon plan, in which case we're gonna, obviously they're gonna make a token, but then we'll trophy away the Gideon itself. They're tapping out for mono black Draina. Yeah, you got it. Okay, I'm pretty happy to trophy her. Or am I? Should I just actually kill her with Obnixilis? Killing her with Obnixilis is better, isn't it? Sweet, I'm gonna do that. We don't really need the card advantage from old Obnix with our Dark Confidant around. Okay. Obnixilis reignited. Reignited, and it feels so good. Boom. All right. We're taking advantage of their slow start. They had good interaction. They've got these Captain's Claws, but they're struggling to develop a board presence, of course, as far as creatures go, and that is their big downfall. Okay, Field of Ruin. We're still very, very light on just about everything, but let's draw another card and lose a life. Seems good. Another land. Well then. That is very unexciting. We've got to trophy away the Mimic before they start getting they start going wide with Captain's Claws, so I guess we're just going to do it main phase and then attack with Hissing Quagmire and Bob, as bad and underwhelming as that is. It's either that or we could play a Scooz, actually, which it would be fine, but yeah, maybe we'd rather do that. So I take it back. I do want to play the Scooz, but we still want to attack with Bob. So, trophy you. Probably ramping them to Gideon now, but we've got all the card draw in the world. We should be able to deal with them. In comes the Confidant for 2. And I don't see any need to grow the Skoos with extreme urgency here, so I'm just going to take the chance to play out a Blooming Marsh, and then we'll pass. Kind of want to leave these forests in my deck, or the one forest that remains. That would have been the only other reasonable land to play there, is the Verdant Catacombs, to potentially go get a forest, but I'm happy enough with the Marsh, and here comes a 4-drop Talus Paladin. Allies you control gain lifelink, and you get a counter. You got it. Well, yeah, they just lack the early board state to make this stuff good. We're going to try to leave that metallic Mimic in there in case it matters for growing the Tarmogoyf. We find an Inquisition. Alright, I guess we're going to lead on that because we have nothing better to do. Leyline of Sanctity, you got it, okay. Yep. This is so awkward. It's so awkward that we're this flooded. I think we just have to cash in the Obnix and try to ride these two things to victory. We just can't beat the Captain's Clause. It's pretty hilarious, but that's how it is. What a game. What a game of Magic the Gathering. Alright. We've got so much gas left in the deck to hit, we should be fine. Hopefully they draw one of those discard spells now. Wouldn't that be nice? Alright, we did it. We did it. We got there against the unconventional Orazov Allies build, which in many ways did line up fairly well against what we were doing. We saw some flooding, we saw some awkward things, but we got there. And the spicy tech of Urborg and Ob Nixilis were actually, those were both pretty good there. Those are both pretty solid there. The Funeral Charm got sided out, the Blackmail did not get sided in, so we didn't see the whole spread of spicy inclusions, but we did see a couple, and honestly, they were both quite good. Alright. This is a fine keep. It's not great, but fine. Whoa. Yep, not a very good keep against Infect. But what can you do? Oh, that's a good draw, though. That's a great draw. Opponent's probably wondering why we didn't cast this on the end step. Well, my friend, that would be because we just drew it. Infect is a great matchup for us. We've got all the interaction. Ooh, and they were just stuck. They were just on that Glistener Elf plan pretty hardcore, huh? This actually makes me want to play Tireless Tracker. The only problem with that is if they have, like... No, I think Tireless Tracker is just correct here, actually. I think Tireless Tracker is just the play. Next turn we go Fetch Land into Thoughtseize and maybe into Pulsar Trophy if we need to. If they've got, like, main deck Dismember, I'm punished. Otherwise, this is great. Okay, there's land number 2. They must be sitting on a Blighted Agent. Lead off on the Thoughtseize here after we make a couple clues. Okay, they do have a Dismember, but they chose not to cast it. I think they were supposed to just kill that tracker on sight. I really do. Blighted Agent, Apostle's Blessing, all this good stuff. So, Inkmoth Nexus can animate itself, and then nothing they have can protect it except Apostle's Blessing. So, this is tough, because if I'm planning to trophy the Nexus, then I'm going to give them blue mana for Blighted Agent. So what if I just take Apostle's Blessing here? I think Dismember is also a legitimate consideration because this tracker is going to be very good, but I'll take Apostle's Blessing. Very interesting decision there. Let me know what you would have done. Okay, is Dismember coming now? Yes, it is. Alright. Now that we've taken the Blessing, though, we are under no obligation to trophy this Nexus quite yet. Like, we don't have to do it now that their shields are down, because they don't have a good way to protect it quite yet. And of course, it's not doing anything for them until they invest mana into animating it and all that good stuff. Cracking our clue. Liliana, sure. Yep, we got a player. We're going semi-shields down right now. Question is, do we want to tick her up or do we want to just buy back the tracker? I think ticking her up is actually just a faster win condition. Opponent seems like they're getting no love from their deck. No love at all, but if they had, we've got the interaction to compete with them. It's a bit of a strange and slightly awkward progression here, but for both of us, but for us, we've got no obligations. Now we're probably going to push this Nexus, I assume. Yeah, they don't have a land, sure. So we make them tap out first. Just out of curiosity, yeah, it is coming at us. Looks like that's all they've got. Yep, GG. Hand was too clunky on the opposite side of the table, so I think we played pretty correctly there in terms of just not casting Assassin's Trophy, basically, like, and taking that Apostle's Blessing again. There were, of course, a million other options there, but how good is Blackmail against Infect? I think we want it, right? I think we just want all of the discard that we can get, and that's not particularly narrow against them. Seems fine, actually. Funeral Charm is good. So I guess we're just cutting away the slower things, which maybe Maelstrom Pulse falls into that category. I'm not exactly certain. Probably just want all 3 Liliana, actually, huh? Yeah, we can go with only 1 Maelstrom Pulse, and I guess EE is actually relatively narrow. Let's run it like that for this game, and then maybe revisit the sideboard if there is a game 3. Certainly our opponent can, this hand's great. This hand is absolutely great. Funeral Charm, we might get a clean kill of the Funeral Charm here. We'll have to see what they show us, but looks like they do have a turn 1 creature of some kind. It is the Glistener Elf. Alright, well, Inquisition's a good draw too, but we've just got to kill this thing on sight, I do believe. Target creature gets +2, -1 until end of turn. The spice. The spice! Well, that's not the worst. Trading that for a burn spell, though, or a pump spell, excuse me. I should certainly have considered that, though. But we've got more removal where that came from. Might work to our favor in the long run to have traded Charm for mutagenic growth, but I will freely admit that I did not consider that play from them, and perhaps should have. Maybe Fatal Push was just the better play there. Alright, I guess we'd like to draw an untapped land here. An untapped black land, to be precise. Alright, we did not do it, and they've got a Spellskite, so neither of those things are very good for us. Now, do we want to push and they'll redirect it to the Skite, or do we want to Inquisition? The problem with Inquisition is I think the thing we're most afraid of is Become Immense, and Inquisition can't take it anyway. So let's just push, force them to use the Skite, get that out of the way. Player Hissing Quagmire, and then next turn, you know, again, we're still kind of hoping for an untapped land because we can do a lot of really good things. Now here, I guess I am happy that I let on the Funeral Charm because, of course, Charm cannot kill Spellskite, so, and neither can Collective Brutality, so that's, you know, if you are ever in competitive Magic playing a Funeral Charm, this that gives you a few things to think about. We've seen a few really interesting ways cards line up in really interesting ways thus far already. So we are totally shields down, and they only hit us with a Pendelhaven Pump. They've got another Spellskite, that's why. I was like, well, what else do they have? Well, they've got the Spellskite. Oh boy. Okay, well, we cannot double spell. And that's very, very poor for us. Very poor for us. And Inquisition also gets worse as the game goes on. I think we just have to keep forcing them to get rid of these Spellskites. Our Lilianas are such clean answers to this Glistener Elf, especially Lily of the Veil now. Kills it even through a pump spell. So I guess we're just going to Brutality. And I guess we can pitch this tracker to take something out of their hand, so that's the closest to his 2-spell turn we can get. I will say that I don't know how... I've never had this happen. I've never had a modal spell lining up against Spellskite. But we'll see how this interaction works. Hopefully we don't get blown out by it. Kill your thing, look at your hand. Could also consider pitching Inquisition here, but we shouldn't need the tracker to close out this game if we ever stabilize. We've got 2 Planeswalkers and a Bob. Alright, well maybe we're... Yep, okay. There's the redirect. Oh man, that doesn't even kill the Spellskite, as I just said last turn. Well, that's what I get for imbibing while playing, my bad, guys. And they can redirect both. Okay, so that's how that works. So we learned something new today. Or at least I learned something new. Spellskite fell out of favor right as I was starting to play Modern, seriously. When I came over from the kitchen table, Gitaxian Probe had just been banned. Oh, are they wrong? They can't redirect that other ability. Yeah, that makes sense. So we both kind of punted there. Sweet. Okay, there goes Might of Old Krosa. Sure. And they are spending a lot of... Maybe we can just, like... How hilarious would it be if they bring themselves solo with Spellskite redirections that becomes relevant. Maybe we should have drained them for 2 as well. Who knows? But really, we just want that 3rd land at this point. Just really aching for that 3rd land. They found a Vines of Vastwood. Well, that's quite bad. That's quite bad for us. We're probably just dead here. Yep. Well, I mean, we can chump block with a Bob. Do we even bother doing so? Nah, I'm just going to scoop it up. I don't deserve this win. Scoop it up. Don't deserve the win for the failure to account for Spellskite's toughness, even though I did the turn before. And, you know, we just got stuck on 2 lands. Not a whole heck of a lot we could have done there. So are we interested in bringing anything else here? This EE is a consideration. Maelstrom Pulse is a consideration. I don't know about anything else. And, you know, also, I will say double Spellskite. That was tough for them. That was tough for us to fight through, that is for sure. So, not one we were meant to win, but my collective brutality play did not necessarily help matters. And, yeah, I think we kind of like things as they are. Maybe Maelstrom Pulse the second comes in because we see they're on a multiple Spellskite plan and we can just cut a Scooz or a Tracker. Maybe we just one of each is better than 2 of the ooze, so we'll do it that way. Sure, I like that. I like that just fine. Yeah, yeah, I guess Maelstrom Pulse is warranted. Well, the Funeral Charm, as we proved last game, is not a flawless kill spell by any means, but we are going to keep this hand. It's got a really nice curve. I think we play the Treetop Village here, though, because if they do... Yeah, we'll play the Village. The only way we're punished for this is if we draw like a threat we're really interested in playing next turn. Them keeping 7 all 3 games is not great for us. That's one of the things Infect really has to do to be in this matchup. It is very good for us, but Infect is a strong deck. It really is. Anyway, like I was saying before, I came into Modern right when Gitaxian Probe was getting banned, and Infect kind of went on the downswing, and so I haven't played against Spellskite that much. I realize how much of a Modern staple it once was, but it's not one I've seen all that often. Now we're punished for playing the Treetop Village for this reason, too, because now we cannot have a double spell turn of Inquisition into Funeral Charm. What's up?
How much longer?
I don't know why.
We're gonna eat.
Go ahead.
Do you want wine?
Go ahead. Thank you.
No wine.
I don't want it. Thank you. So, yeah, so we're punished for not having double black here. Pretty hard, but I guess it's got to be a brutality, and I guess it's got to be escalated. But there's nothing great to pitch either. Ooh, this is tricky. This is so tricky. We might have to pitch the Field of Ruin, even though it's very good in the matchup. Tricky spot, but we're going to escalate. Kill your thing. Look at your hand. Maybe we just pitch the Funeral Charm, because Lily of the Veil can come down next turn and edict anything away. I mean, this is going to punish us if we flood out, but I think it might be correct to pitch Charm. Let's do that. Of course, we need Verdant Catacombs for the double black, and we need Field of Ruin to deal with Inkmoth Nexus, which they do have in hand. Alright. So they have Noble Hierarch, Spellskite, Rancor, couple lands, including a Nexus. They've got no pump spells of any kind. Inky and Spellskite. Alright, so they're continuing not to ramp. And we are drawing lands, which was our fear after we pitched that Funeral Charm, it was. But, definitely a bit of a problem here, because if we edict away the Spellskite, then they can just finish off the Lily with an Inkmoth Nexus. What if we Lily and tick up? That's okay. The other option is to Field of Ruin and then Inquisition. Yeah, maybe we just field while the fielding is good for the Inkmoth Nexus, and then we'll Inquisition them. I guess that's better, but gives them a window to deploy an Infect creature and then protect it with a Spellskite, but I don't know that there's a whole heck of a lot we can do about that. Alright, we just take the creature away, I suppose. Okay, well, we need help from our deck, but so do they. And I guess so far I'm not really regretting pitching that Funeral Charm. I will if they get like a creature right away, and it's a Blighted Agent right away. We are as punished as we can be. Basically as punished as we can be. But Assassin's Trophy is an okay draw. It's an okay draw. Liliana Edict is going to take care of the Spellskite. And then they just have the Blighted Agent. So I think we trophy first. Well, it's the same result either way, right? But then our Liliana can live. Our Liliana can potentially take over the game. So yeah, I guess we go on the trophy play. We're not just dead to this thing in one hit, are we? I didn't even... +6, +6, +2, +0. Just about. Yep, you got it. Spellskite is a beating against us. That is for sure. But... okay, so now I wish I still had that Funeral Charm. But again, like, we could have easily just not drawn any lands. And we could have just not been able to cast our Liliana. Or alternatively, we could have pitched a Field of Ruin, but Field of Ruin is so good in this matchup. Like, you bring Fulminator Mage in this matchup to deal with Inkmoth Nexus, right? So, you know, that just shows you how highly we should rate Field of Ruin, and we knew they had the Nexus. So, I don't know that I've done anything wrong here, but I do know, yeah, maybe playing the Treetop Village turn 1 was wrong, and getting a Dryad Arbor, yikes. Well, that makes our Liliana much worse. We might lose this one to Infect, guys. Might lose this one to Infect. There's the Rancor. Here's the Become Immense. We are just going to bluff interaction, but realistically there's no reason we wouldn't have done it last turn unless we're trying to bait out the Become Immense and blow them out. That's the reason we would have, yep, but we just don't have anything, sadly. Oh no, they found another pump spell. Alright, they're going all in. Well, we got by Infect. They had great top decks, to be fair. They had great top decks. They got a Blighted Agent right away when they needed one. We couldn't even set up a Treetop Village block plan. And we got punished for our decisions at every turn, basically. We got punished for the decision to play Treetop Village turn 1 by needing double black for an ideal turn 2. And then we got punished for choosing the safe play of keeping our lands in hand, and then we flooded. So, yeah, what can you do? I don't think we necessarily deserved that loss, but we certainly took the L. All good. This hand is functional, but not great. On the draw, though, we've got a lot of chances to hit the lands we need to make it great. Scalding Tarn, Watery Grave, looking like some kind of a Grixis Death Shadow deck to me. And these Lilianas of the Veil are going to be very good against Death Shadow if all of the criteria are met. Like, if we hit our third land, and if they're, you know, not able to Stubborn Denial her and all of that. See what they're interested in taking here. Not the easiest decision, because we don't have an obvious progression, but looks like they're going to try to fight their way through these lilies. So, okay, Dark Confidant. Potentially quite useful. But do they have more discard where that came from? They are getting their card selection on with a little looting. Temur Battle Rage, Polluted Delta. Okay. Well. Might get killed, but Bob is the highest upside here. Thought Scour, maybe. Oh, black mana. Uh-oh. Yep, there he goes. Oh, boy. Well, we still haven't drawn the land we need. Opponent's on the dig as well. They're digging hard. They're gonna pass. Ah, no lands is so bad, but this is what's mana efficient, is to play out the Tarmogoyf. If they've got another Fatal Push, or they've got maybe Snap into push next turn, that would be mighty rough. Flashing back a looting is not among the plays I feared, but it's one of the great things about Faithless looting decks, right? Is like when you're kind of stalled out, like both of us are, you know, they get to dig some more and get some extraneous lands right out of that hand. So would we rather have a double discard spell turn or play the Liliana? I think it's got to be double discard. But they could be sitting on Delve Threats, in which case that's a lot worse. Maybe we do just play the Lily here. I can actually buy that. I'm going to play the Lily. I'm going to play the Lily. Let's pitch the tracker here. Well, maybe this stuff is becoming a little bit too redundant. Alright, I'm going to pitch a Brutality. Obvious toss-up there. You can make arguments for pitching literally any of those 4 cards. There goes a Lightning Bolt. And I do think we have to attack here. We got to make them have something. They're dead on board. If they don't. Lily Edict is live. If we find a land and play Kalitas into the Lily Edict, that's even better. Alright, we got him. We got Shadow. Feels good, feels good. And like I said in a lull, I believe in Game 1, Shadow is having a renaissance of sorts. I don't know if Faithless Looting has really improved the deck that much. Oh, they're just leaving. Well, fine, Shadow player. You don't have to play Game 2 against us. I understand. But yeah, Shadow is having a bit of a renaissance, and I don't know if that's because Faithless Looting has actually made the deck appreciably better, or whether the meta is shifting back a little bit into its favor with humans on a bit of a downswing. Humans, of course, being a pretty tough matchup for Shadow. Or whether people just realized that, like, Shadow has always been a really good deck ever since it was kind of created. The deck is just really does a lot. Now, I am biased in favor of interactive, especially black-based interactive decks, so I perhaps am naturally predisposed to enjoying a little bit of Grixis Death Shadow, but hey, you know, the deck's got a lot going for it. The deck's got a whole lot going for it, and I'm not surprised to see it climb back up the ranks. That said, I do think we are fairly solidly positioned against it. It's not a matchup I fear, but it's a matchup I respect, if that makes sense. We do have a good amount of stuff to bring in as well for that matchup. Not sure what's up with this. It looks like there we go. I was going to say, it looks like we're struggling to actually get this game hooked up, but we're in. We are in. Opponent might have stepped away because it took so long. They're sitting around deciding whether or not to go first. Yeah, so what have we thought of the spice so far? I mean, We haven't seen blackmail, sadly, because that would be really fun if we did. Urborg has been cool. Urborg has been really cool. It's a lot more, obviously, it shines when you have an Urborg field hand. It's very keepable a lot of the time. If you have Twilight Mire field, it is a mulligan. That is just a total non-bow, whereas Urborg actually thrives alongside colorless lands like Field of Ruin. Of course, if you have Swamp Urborg as an opening pair of lands, that's pretty poor compared to Swamp Twilight Mire, which will let you do anything in terms of having the right colors. So, pros and cons to both. But Urborg has seemed cool so far. Definitely has seemed cool. One thing that we do want to watch out for is Urborg fixing the opponent's mana. But, you know, I thought about this while I was commuting to work the other day, actually, and I was like, if we are realistically, like, on the Field of Ruin, on the Fulminator Mage plan, really trying to take them off of a splash color, a great example of this is against Burn, right? That's one of the ways we've actually won a few games on this channel, is taking away Burn's white splash or green splash, as the case may be. Like, there is a potential non-bow there if we are trying to do that to a black splash, and we have an Urborg in our deck. That said, I can't think of a deck where it's realistically a plan C, even, for us to take them off of a black splash. Like, obviously Burn is a great example, take them off the white splash. These 3-color decks, where the splash color is maybe red in Jeskai, or red in Jund, or white in Abzan, okay, maybe, just maybe, we can take them off of that splash color. But what decks are, like, is it realistic to take them off of black that Urborg could be a non-bow with that plan? I really couldn't think of any on my commute. So if you've experienced that in any way, let me know. But otherwise, I think we can maybe just write that off as not too big of a concern. Alright, I'm not going to make you guys sit through this. So, bye-bye, opponent. You lost your chance. Alright, let's try to find a match that actually starts here, and where the opponent's ready to roll. Velgarin. Velgarin sounds like he or she is up for a fight. Let's take the play. Let's keep this hand. We've got a nice low curve. All the interaction in the world. We'll keep. We are against Eldrazian taxes. Okay, they have Leonin Arbiter and Ghost Quarter. They have a Sculler and a Strangler, huh? Well, I actually think we kind of have to take the Sculler. And, well, no, we have Push and Decay. I guess we'll just take the Arbiter, because, like, we can deal with it, but if they have another, this card could be very, very bad for us with our current state of affairs as far as land goes. Our hand is nice and stacked against a deck like this, though they are playing to the board, so yes, we get to be against a deck where our kill spells matter. Thoughtseize is a good draw. Very good draw. And I do believe I will lead off on it. Okay, they drew another land. That's awesome. Guess we'll just take the Sculler. Remember that you cannot profitably respond to Sculler's trigger. That is not how that works, because it's templated as 2 separate abilities. So do not ever do that if you can afford not to. They can't. They are going to cast the Strangler. Sure, that's perfect. We'll just push it. One unknown in hand. Funeral Charm will pretty much only kill Thalia here, so Funeral Charm will probably not be the most relevant. Maybe Swamp Walk will come up, but otherwise I don't know. Alright, we'd love to draw a threat here. Swamp, huh? Not great. But at least they're up to nothing great over there themselves, right? And at least we get to hold up all of our interaction here. Ether Vial. Bit late to the party. Another Ether Vial. Okay, you got it. So we know both cards in their hand. I don't think we hit a vial here. I think we just hang on to our interaction for actual creatures. Oof. Rough, rough, rough. I'm going to play this land because this game is obviously going very long, and at some point we're going to need the capacity to carry out a double spell turn, to carry out Decay and Trophy, potentially, if they try to overload us on an end step with double Ether Vial activations. Now, in Blooming Marsh, of course, is an ETB tapped land anyway, so I'm pretty happy to run that out for all those reasons, but I'm going to sandbag lands from here on out, unless they are man lands, and I think that's going to be the correct sequencing. Alright, threat. You can do it. Show me a threat. Lily of the Veil, we'll take it. We'll take it. I could totally empty their hand here with Funeral Charm, but I don't think I'm supposed to. I think I'd rather just take her up and actually pitch my Funeral Charm. They probably just have another land in hand, frankly. But, or maybe like a Path to Exile. Alright, we are now on the Protect the Queen plan, and the Queen is named Liliana. We'll see how far it gets us, but alright, no immediate pressure. Scavenging Ooze is a good draw. So I think the play here is to take up Pitch Abrupt Decay, then play the Ooze. If they have a removal spell, maybe they'll throw it away first. The reason we want to keep Trophy over Decay is basically for Thought-Knot Seer and any other 4-drops they might have. And we got the Path out of their hand, so that's kind of cool. Right now we have 3 targets in the graveyard for our Skoos, so this guy can potentially grow to a quite reasonable size here. Alright, they're going to empty their hand and then they've got Path, sure. Alright. I don't think we need to Trophy on the end step just to empty our hand, because we should be able to play just about anything and still tick Liliana up. Except maybe Kalitas, but yep. We'll just call it good. We'll just pass. Tarmogoyf, sure. Well, play the Goyf and I guess trophy the Ether Vial that's at 3. Take our Lily up. Pass to you. I certainly don't think I'm supposed to ult here right as she's able to, because they're not going to be mana screwed no matter what. So, ooh, Lingering Souls was such a good draw. They're just gonna scoop? Oh no. Oh no, Lingering Souls was gonna keep you in that game, my friend. Man, I don't think they realize how well Lingering Souls lines up against our deck, but I'll take it. I'll take it, I guess. So, I don't think Funeral Charm does all that much here. Between Vial playing around its instant speed discard mode pretty well, and the X1s not being that prevalent there, I don't think we want that. So it's probably going to come out, but we'll have some stuff to bring in. Yeah, maybe at least one Nile Spellbomb. Potentially more, because they did show me those Lingering Souls. And maybe EE is interesting against Vial and Souls combined. It's a grindy matchup. We like Nissa, we like Ob. I think I'm going to move totally away from discard. Collective Brutality is a maybe. Let's do this, let's do this. Lilianas are just great here, in my opinion. What if we cut all 1-mana discard spells and just go full interaction, full onboard interaction? What does that look like? Do we want a Collective Brutality number 2? Probably. Now, do we want EE or a second Spellbomb? Let's go with a second Spellbomb. Because EE is mainly there for the tokens anyway, for the Lingering Souls tokens, so most of their actual threats are going to be clustered around the 3-drop slot. EE, of course, does not line up well against that in our 2-color deck, so... And as nice as it could be to 2-for-1 a pair of Ether Vials not even that good against us. And for all we know, they're going to side some number of them out. So I guess Spellbomb is just less narrow than EE. This hand is very reasonably powered, but borderline unplayable. Yeah, the fact that we need double black to make this hand good and we have none, I think we have to mull this. But mulling is bad in this matchup. This hand's fine. We'll keep it. Trophy, trophy, trophy. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's a fine one. Shambling Vent. You got it. So we're very well insulated against a Tide Hollow Sculler here. Whatever they take, we can kill it. Thalia is their other possible play, but of course she can just die to a Fatal Push. As far as 2-drop threats go, that is Leonin Arbiter. Again, everything we've got kills it. Did they keep a 1-lander with no Vial? Or did they just not play anything in their first main? Ooh, they kept the 1-lander, no Vial. Well, well, well. Okay. Dark Confidant. That's a good draw. They might have Push. That would be their best play. If they've got Path, I'm fine with it. Alright, I suspect that they have something that made them want to keep this one lander. No? Okay, then. They're going to need a second land, like, now. Otherwise, they're likely to be buried by this good old Confidant. Yeah, they're just done. Well, that was a bit of a risky keep on their part, I have to say. I don't think... I mean, we threw back a powerful two-lander because it didn't have the right colors of mana. Now they had the right colors of mana, of course, but... Ooh, one-lander on the play with no Vial. A bit risky, and the risk did not pay off for them, so we will take it. What are we, 3-1 now, something like that? So decent afternoon... decent afternoon's display with our spicy stuff here, and I will play one more match and then call it good. I think that's the plan. Go back to family festivities. Let's see if we can see our fun ofs here. Well, this hand is ridiculously powerful. This hand is so ridiculously powerful that I'm actually going to keep it. I know it's probably wrong. I'm going to keep it. I've been very responsible with my mulligans all afternoon. And I'm tired of being responsible, guys. I'm going to cut loose. I'm going to keep a one-lander. And I'm going to not draw a land, so I'm punished. But we've got one more turn to hit it to make me not look foolish. Against an island, we're going to shock here. Inquisition was at least a good draw as far as non-land cards go. Get to clear the way for our Bob if we have land number 2, Spell Snare. Well, looks right away like I'm going to take the Spell Snare. Yep. I mean, they can Logic Knot it away just as well, but I guess Spell Snare is just the better take here, and then if we do get stuck on land, we can Thoughtseize and take away the Logic Knot. So at this point, even a tapped land would be a fine draw. Tapped land would be just fine here. Blooming Marsh. Well, that's a good draw too. But I think I actually... It's more mana efficient to play a 2-drop even if we know it's going to get Logic Knotted. So what if we play a Tarmogoyf? Then next turn we can Thoughtseize into Bob if we draw another land. I'll do that. If they want to Logic Knot the Tarmogoyf, that is just fine with me. If not, well, we get to go on the Tarmogoyf plan, but... Yeah, here comes the knot. Okay, we did it. We drew out of our risky keep. I like it. Okay, Thoughtseize to clear the way for Bobby, I guess. Double Path and Cryptic. Well, we have enough gas in hand that we don't mind our Bob getting pathed, I guess. Take the Cryptic. It's also cool that they had to delve away their Spell Snare, so they were not live for a snap Spell Snare this turn either. Looks like they might be hesitating before they path our Bob. They are going to at least take a draw step before they decide what to do. And they definitely kind of want to hold up Snap Logic Knot here, so I wonder if they just don't path it, but they probably will. Okay. Oh, are they a Jeskai deck? Who would have known? Who would have known? Now do they want a path? Yeah, probably. Yep. Alright, well, we've been ramped. Fatal Push is not a good draw. So, unfortunately, I mean, land would have been the best thing there. Land would have been it. I think we've got to grind. I think we've got to start grinding. Buy back a Goyf. Pass to you. Lily of the Veil. Also a bit awkward. Awkward enough that I think we're just going to go for a double Tarmogoyf turn here. Well, let's hold off on activating her, because they might snap Logic Knot or something, and then we can kill the Snapcaster with Liliana, potentially. I think we just play both Goyfs here. We know they've got a path to exile, but yeah, they're probably just going to go snap, path, but we've still got a lot of gas in hand after that, and they will be able to pressure Liliana off the field, but hey. All of this early ramp could work very well for us. Did they not have a path in hand? Did I not keep track of that correctly? Thought they had two paths, but maybe they're just hanging on to one. Okay, whatever. We'll take the ramp here. Yeah, they got another one. Sure. Okay, so next turn, if we draw another land, we can go Tracker into land, into Lily, into Fatal Push. We can do everything. But they're just taxing us out of basics here. That is our last one. Ooh, but they gave us Fatal Push mana. That's cool. They're empty-handed. Well, that worked out okay. Worked out just fine. Okay. All of a sudden, things are looking up. And they'll just scoop to that. They realize that was a misplay to field in their main phase like that. So, we'll take it. We will take it. I think even if they hadn't done that, we would have been pretty well off with Tracker and Lily still in hand and them bowed out of resources. But hey, that pretty much sealed the deal. So, against Jeskai control, as cool as Fatal Push was there, we don't want it anymore. We can cut away some stuff like Skoos, Kalidas, a land. I don't know how good Funeral Charm is. Seems okay, I guess, but Choke. Falmies. We'll bring in this Blackmail. Seems great. I like Finks against Jeskai. Some number of Nile Spellbomb is interesting too, so that brings us to 60, but we still want the Nissa. We might want a Maelstrom Pulse. We might want more Spellbombs. So, what else can we kind of cut away? I guess we'll cut the Spice. I guess we'll cut the Spice here. And maybe we lose one more Skoos. I mean, Collective Brutality should probably be in here too, right? maybe even over those other considerations. Ob Nixilis as well. Well, we've got arguably too much to do against a control deck now with this list I just kind of whipped up. But I think this is fine. I think this is fine. Ob Nixilis is actually probably not that impressive against Jeskai. And, you know, a second Maelstrom Pulse would be very playable, but not the most necessary. Actually be more interested in a second Spell Bomb than any of the other things I just mentioned, I think, but we'll run it like this. Alright, we've got a lot of good stuff in our hand, but no 1-mana discard. I think we're probably shaping up to Brutality next turn to just try to get a feel for the lay of the land as far as resolving our Lilianas is concerned. But if they shock here, play a Search for Azcanta, maybe we just decay that. Runed Halo. Well. Well. Tarmogoyf. I was going to say maybe we just play the Tarmogoyf. Now I will resume plan A of casting a Collective Brutality. No need to escalate here. Opt in Surgical Extraction into Teferi? Well, not too worried about that stuff. They are very vulnerable to our Liliana right now. Okay, so unless they drew... Okay, so there's a search. Well, that's a good one. But we've got outs. We've got outs to this type of thing, so it's certainly Liliana time. And both of these lands are really good against them, so I think I'm going to pitch my other Lily. There goes their Surgical, which I don't think is good against us anyway. So I'm going to try to get my Tarmogoyf down this upcoming turn. That way, if they Teferi away the Liliana, I can kill the Teferi between a Tarmogoyf and maybe a Treetop Village attack. We'll see what happens. It actually might have... Maybe I should have kept this other Liliana. That was kind of a tough call, but... And Runed Halo doesn't protect Planeswalkers anymore. So, yeah. Okay, there's their Scalding Tarn. Fulminator Mage is a draw. Here's a situation where I'm going to just play it and immediately crack it, I think, to keep them off of Teferi mana, but we'll see what they pitch. I'm going to pitch my Hissing Quagmire here. All my other stuff's pretty good. Field of Ruin, sure. Fulminator time, set him back on lands. They're going to get to flip Search, though, but... Oh, they're going to get to flip Search now. Whoops. Yeah, maybe I had to decay the Search, actually. I don't know. We can still finish off the Teferi with our Treetop Village if he does decide to tuck Lily. And we kind of need to decay this Runed Halo anyway, because otherwise our Tarmogoyf doesn't do anything, and Tarmogoyf is a 5/6. I don't know. I actually, I should have thought that turn through a little bit more thoroughly. That seems clear. I should have maybe considered more aggressively keeping them off of flipping as Kanta. But I did not. So it looks like they're going to tap out for Teferi. And they are tucking Lily. Kitchen Finks. Awkward, but we've got to pressure the Teferi off the field here. Alright, well, we're still in a good position, but we've put them in a position where they can top deck some bombs, and they do have the search for Iskanta, so none of this is great for us. Let's cast a Goyf. We're going to let it resolve because they've got the Ruined Halo, I can only assume. And they're about to get back into this game with this flipped Iskanta. We do have a bunch of outs to it with Trophy and with Field of Ruin, but it's gonna dig him back into the game. So I found a cryptic command. That's a good one. That's a good one. But we're gonna get to surprise him with a decay on the end step here on the Halo and start to put him on a really quick clock actually with this Tarmogoyf. You know, maybe I should have considered the decay while they were tapped out, because I guess they could bounce their own Ruined Halo if they so chose to with this cryptic command, which granted might not be very good, might not be good enough for them to want to do because we've got a couple treetops on board. Kitchen Finks in hand, not that they know about that, but still. I'm still going to go for it. Because if nothing else, it stops them from doing other things with their cryptic, stops them from activating Iskanta. But they do have that option. Alright, maybe they're considering it. They're just gonna let it happen. Alright, Liliana. Good draw, but awkward draw. I think we're just gonna play the Finks here instead of the Lily. We're also punished for tossing away that Hissing Quagmire because our mana's been awkward a couple times now since then. But I don't think that was incorrect. Just shows kind of the way the game breaks out after you make a decision with Liliana. Always, okay. So maybe they think this is a kind of a bait spell, which it could be, but it's not. Or maybe they just rate digging higher with this Iskanta. Now, I will say that even though they're starting to really bury us in card advantage after we were ahead, they're actually in kind of a difficult spot, because remember, they actually have to win this game. We're at 22 life. They're at 9. We've got treetop villages on board. They're going to find it difficult to leverage all of this advantage. However, finding Path to Exile is pretty good. But what do they have here? Is this like a Supreme Verdict? Ooh, rough. But if they don't have another land, they don't have another land? Okay. Nissa was a great draw. I was just going to lament the fact that we could not attack with both treetops, but Nissa's going to make it all better. Ooh, they're going to blindly extract Lily of the Veil. Well, that's actually going to hand us the game. Never mind, I was going to say they're so lucky because they get a card out of our hand. But, sure, you got it, my friend. Take away my Lily, then you are facing lethal from Nissa and a persisted Kitchen Finks. How exciting. Send in the clowns. Good game, well played. Well, Nissa was the top deck of the century there, I'm not going to lie. That was really cool. That was awesome. Great note to finish on. Yeah, so we didn't see all that much of our fun ofs, but hey, I am sad we didn't get to cast a blackmail. That's arguably the most spicy card that I included today. So no blackmail, no fun. But we got to do some work with Obnixilis. That was pretty cool against the Allies deck. We got to see the limitations of Funeral Charm against Infect when it got, when it basically traded with a mutagenic growth instead of trading with a Glistener Elf like we wanted it to. And we saw Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, fix our mana a little bit, be just fine as an inclusion. So, yeah, that was a fun one. I think we went 4-1, losing again to Infect. Maybe I have that wrong, but I think that's correct. I think we went 4-1, losing only to Infect. Kind of like my second most recent league, where we went 4-1 and we lost only to Infect. So that is an eerie parallel, is it not? Of course, especially because Infect is just about one of our best tiered matchups in the format. But hey, what can you do? So we played some Spice today. We played the Funeral Charm. We didn't get to combo off with Urborg and Funeral Charm together. Oh well. We didn't get to see Blackmail, but this card's are really cool. I think borderline playable in my opinion, and if big mana ever becomes like more of a presence, then maybe we want to really consider this card more closely. And Obnixilis, probably just a tad too slow and a tad too underpowered, but what he does is very straightforward, never really going to be bad. When you bring him in, his abilities are always going to be live. Pretty much as simple as it gets. Draw a card, lose a life, destroy a target creature. And the ult is whatever. The ult is okay. But, probably not really going to ever see a meta where you necessarily want to include this guy in your 75. But if things get really grindy, you know where to look. It's for Obnixilis Reignited. Anyway, that was fun. So I hope you all are continuing to enjoy the live commentary. I know some of you miss the replays. Believe me, I do too. I play better. I focus more. I'm more relaxed, frankly, when I just get to play and I don't have to talk. Believe me, I want the replays back just as much as you do. But a lot of people really dig the live stuff too, so I hope you're enjoying it. And if you would like to see this content expand, see more of it, see it, see this content thrive and continue on into the future, please remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, and patreon.com/Flayer MTG. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you soon. I will talk to you for the next video, and I hope you have a great night.